by selecting only some part of the data, and they will say that to one of the front-end developer. If back-end database developer is different, as I told you, in developers only. Developers also. Front-end developer is different. Business logic developer is different. Database developer is also different, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Database developer, what he will do? Database developer will create a view, and he will say, okay, for the front-end developer, he will say that, no, this is the view name. Use this view name if you want to do anything on the front end. So the front-end developer don't know what exactly the entire table, what it has in the data.
Yes, sir.
Because why it is given only the view? For security reasons, right?
Yes, sir.
Understood. But now front-end developer, what he will do? In the UI, if I want to fetch the data, if I check from date to date, if I give and fetch the data, internally, it is not selecting data from the directly from table. It may be taking data from a view.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is it okay? So views are created for what purpose? Views are created for security purpose, right? Views in SQL, right? Yeah. Any views are kind of virtual tables,
Yes, sir.
Views are kind of virtual tables. A view also has, what does the view have? View also has rows and columns.
Rows and columns. Yes, sir.
If I say I am again selecting some columns from view, again I am using where condition. Yeah, so you can do, right? So we can create a view by selecting fields from one or more tables present in the database. A view can either having all rows of a table or specific rows based on condition, right? Inside a view, we might have written some statements. How do they create a view like this? Create view name as some SQL query they have written, right? Understand me? How do you select data from a view? But now what did they do here? Create view. What is the view name they gave? Create view name. What is that? Details view. Right?
Details view.
As what did they do here? Select name, address from students where student ID less than 5. And we will get first 5 students. Student ID same time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this SQL query will give me what? First 5 students.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. If I say select star from details view, select star from details view, and it is selecting as if like a table, right? Selecting as if like a table, but this is not a physical table. This is a virtual table, right?
Yes, sir.
So how many students will display? The first 5 students, less than 5 students. Okay. Yeah. So like that, the view is to, I don't know, actually you say we can select also again from a view like a table, right? Select star from student names. But how do we feel that? We feel that it is a table, but actually it's not a table, it's a view, right?
Yes, sir. It's a view.
Yeah, like that. So why do views are created? If you can see, they did not write much information here. They gave only examples. But generally views are created for security reasons.
Security.
We don't want to give the actual table names for the people. We want to give only view names. So database load, what table is there, we are hiding it. This is like abstraction. Java concept we tell abstraction, right?
Yes, sir. Abstraction.
We hide the data. We will only give some information to the users, but we hide the original code like that. Yeah. This is okay. What is views?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So view, how do you execute? You can't execute. We have to select like a table, right? Select star from table name. Like that, you can select the data from the view. Okay. So procedure can be execute manually.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Execute procedure name. But triggers?
No, sir.
No, trigger will automatically execute, right?
Yes.
Whenever some insert or update or delete is done. Whenever insert or update or delete is done, trigger will execute automatically.
Yes, automatic.
Okay, trigger will execute automatically whenever we do insert or update or delete. Okay. So whereas procedure we can execute manually. View is like select star from view name, like as if how you select data from table. As if how you select data from table. We write like this, select star from the, okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is all what you should understand. Now, what is primary key? Primary key is a only one primary key we can create on a table, no? And the primary key column will not allow null values and duplicates.
Duplicate values.
Foreign key is a column which refers to some other column, right? But foreign key column can have duplicates,
Null values also.
null values like that. Unique key is also, multiple unique keys we can create on a table, but it will not allow one null value is allowed, but again multiple null values are not allowed. Okay. Yeah, next to transactions we have discussed. Begin transaction, commit transaction, rollback like that. And views we have discussed just now. Views also like a virtual table, say kada.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Next to procedures, triggers, or programming, like procedures, what you call methods in a Java program.
Yes.
Union, all right, to fetch the data from multiple tables. But all records we want to get, no filter, nothing, right? Okay, now there is also something what you call check constraints and rules also are there. Just let me explain these 2 points. Checks and rules, right? When you create a what you call primary key, what it will restrict, no? Primary key create just what it will restrict.
Duplicate values and null values.
No duplicate values, no null values, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
But employee ID is okay. If I say primary key, fine. Or department ID is a primary key. If this department ID will be ABC, if this department ID will give UKL. Am I any wrong in this? What is this department ID? My primary key. Primary key point of it is correct, kada?
Yes, sir.
No null, no duplicates.
Yes, sir.
But what is this ABC? What is this UKL? That means the format is not correct, right? This format is not correct, right?
Yes, sir.
But department ID should never look like this, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But primary key will allow to restrict, saying that no, you are entering some junk data. This is not a valid department ID. Will it give any error like that?
No.
No, sir. It
Because
won't.
primary key, what it will look? Primary key will look only for unique values, right?
Unique values.
And
Yes, sir.
primary key will look for only there is not a null value. That's it. Yeah, it is not a duplicate. It is not a null. Yeah, accept it. Okay. So here, if you want to put some restriction, no, the department ID should be always starts with. Department ID should always start with D. After that,
Teacher.
you should have
Number.
you should have only a 2-digit number, right? Or maximum 1 or 2-digit number. 1 or 2-digit number, 1 digit or 2-digit number. And a D1, D2, D3, D4, D9, D10, D11 like that, right? If you take, that ID is how many digit numbers? 2-digit number, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, how do you put that restriction here? So there we use what we call check constraint. Okay, so check constraints are used for what purpose? Or used to specify the format of the data, right? Format of pattern, right? Format or what you call pattern for the data. Now we expect, how does that you should have a department ID. Department ID. What is the check constraint we put? Check. What you call department ID like. Department ID like. Allow my department ID. It should start with
D. After
D.
that.
Then after that, how many digits are accepted? Either after that, what should be accepted? Java tells regular expressions, Selenium regular expressions. It can be, what is that, 0 to 9 kada?
Yes, sir. 0 to 9.
9 or one more 0 to
9.
anything can be accepted, right? Like this. And it should be starting with D. D start avali. It should be D. After that, any number between 0 to 9. After that, any number between 0 to 9. This is how it is expected. Anything which doesn't match this pattern, it is an error, right?
Yes, sir.
Like that. But a phone number, I gave, phone number normal database lo, what is the data type we take? Phone number. Int or character?
Integer, sir.
No, we take characters.
Characters.
So phone number always we take data type as characters only.
Okay.
So integer means, now you know, right, what is the limitation? There is a
Yes,
2
sir.
bytes. So and phone number, how do you read? You read it as a characters only, right? 9965. Each digit you read as a character only.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So if the phone number, what is the data type we take usually? Come on, ma. Phone number we take is a character data type.
Character.
But if it is a character, but suppose some person entered a phone number as digit, some other phone number, if I enter some alphabets also, it will accept, right? ఏం అర్థం కాలేదా? Understood or not? కాదమ్మా, ఎంప్లాయీ టేబుల్ లో if I have employee ID, employee name, ఇప్పుడు phone number, what is the data type we take usually when we create a table?
Char.
Char, sir.
Yeah, we take character of 10, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so because phone number we never, how do you read phone number, ma? మీరు జావాలో నేర్చుకున్నప్పుడు when you put 100 like this, if you put 100 like this, how do you read? How do you read this and how do you read this?
First the integer.
First integer, second one is string.
Correct. String.
String. So you read this as 100.
Yes, sir.
How do you read this as 1?
1 0 0.
ఇప్పుడు ఫోన్ నెంబర్ ఎలా రీడ్ చేస్తారు? హౌ డు యు రీడ్ ఫోన్ నెంబర్?
9 8, sir, like that, sir.
Like that you read, right? 9 8 8 7 6 5 5 4, like that you read. So that means you are reading as an integer or you are taking as a characters?
Each
Character.
character.
That's what. So you are taking as a characters. So if I enter 9 9 8 8 4 5 6 7, or if I give something like this, now database point of view, it is correct only, right?
Yes, sir.
But should it allow alphabets?
No.
No, it should accept only 10-digit number, right?
Yes, sir.
So what they should have created, they should have created a check constraint, right? Check constraint. What is that phone? Phone, like how the phone should look like? 0 to
0
9.
to 9.
Like that, 0 to 9. How many?
10.
0 to 9.
10.
10 numbers.
0 to 9, like that, 0 to 9. Something like that, they should have created 10, right?
Yes, sir.
Formatting, you understood, right? Like that, they should have created phone number should be 10-digit numbers only. If you give character, you should give error message. If you give 9-digit number also should give error. 11-digit number also should give error.
Yes, sir. Got
If
it.
a check constraint is created for what purpose? Check constraint is used to specify the format or pattern, right? Oh, the data should look like in this pattern. It should be in this format. For that reason, they create check constraints. You got it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Got it, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, check constraint in SQL is done for what purpose? Yeah, check constraint is used to limit the value range that can be placed in a column, right? But a value
Yes.
range or formatting or pattern if you want to specify. If formatting if you want to specify, then we are using what we call
Check
check
constraint.
constraints, right? Yeah. So check constraint is created in a column, table as well as column, and a single column that can have multiple check constraints and a single column. Yeah. So how do they? Yeah. So they create. They create anywhere. What did they create here? Date of joining should be not null. Data, they created a table, create table employee. create table employee ID integer 11 not null,
Yes, sir.
not null, and date of join what they created, date. What is the data type? Date not null. Check.
Check.
What is they're putting? Check date of join should be always greater than this date, right?
Yes, sir.
If you enter a date which is before this date, it will not accept, right?
Yeah, accept. Yes, sir. Correct.
So that is a constraint they are creating. Check constraint, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Did they create any check constraint here? Yeah. They are saying percentage. Percentage, they are saying not null. And check percentage should be always greater than 90. If you give less than 90, it will not accept, right?
Yes, sir. Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like that. What did they created? Yeah. They created favorite subjects. When you insert favorite subjects in this column, it is going to check favorite subjects in only these 3 values it will accept, right? Apart from these 3 values, if you give, it won't accept this column.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
So like that. So some rules or some formatting, some pattern, if you want to specify, then you are using what you call check constraint like this. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Say if you observe here, check constraint is created on student table on this column, right? On student table on favorite subjects.
Yes, sir.
But suppose in some other table also, suppose example I'm saying, in some other table also, if I want to create a same check constraint, there again we have to create.
Yes, sir.
Like that. If I want to create same constraint on, let's say on 5 tables, suppose 5 different tables, I want to create same constraint, then you have to create 5 times, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now tomorrow, if I want to change that constraint condition, then all the 5 places you have to modify.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now instead of that, what we can do is, instead of directly creating a check constraint 5 times on 5 different tables, okay, you create a rule. You create a rule outside. That rule we will bind it to these 5 columns in 5 tables, right?
Yes, sir.
No, but suppose I'm saying in table 1, okay, there is a check constraint. Okay, in table 2 also, there is a check constraint, but these 2 are same. What I'm saying, instead of creating this twice, what I can do? I can create a
Common.
rule.
One rule.
Rule is also a check constraint. Rule kuda check constraint. But I will create a rule separately. This rule I will bind it to this.
Okay.
Hope you understood.
Yes, sir.
Now instead of creating check constraint, same check constraint twice, because tomorrow if you want to modify, you have to modify in both the places, kada?
Yes, sir.
Instead of that, we create a rule. So rule I'm binding to this. Tomorrow if I modify here, it will modify in both the places, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what rule is, nothing. So rule is also a check constraint, but which is created outside and which can be binded to multiple columns in multiple tables. So tomorrow if you modify the rule, same will reflect for all the places, right? Automatically.
Sir, where they will modify these rules, where they will place outside means.
Create rule, rule name, alter rule, drop rule, same thing.
Okay.
But when create table, create procedure, how did we do?
Inquiries.
Yeah, same way, like that we write create rule, rule name. Okay.
Okay.
Alter
Okay.
rule, rule name, drop rule. If you don't want, drop the rule, drop rule, rule name.
Okay, sir.
Create a rule and binding it. Bind, right? Because after creating a rule, we need to bind it to some other table, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how do you create a rule? Syntax, create rule, rule name, right? See, create rule, rule name as some constraint, they're putting some formatting, right?
Yes, sir.
Let us see some example if they have given anything. But they create a rule. What is the rule they created? Create rule, rule name as they told, some value must be greater than 1,000 and less than 20,000, right?
20,000.
This is a constraint, some condition.
Yes, sir.
How this rule they will put it on some table. Okay, I think they are again creating a rule one more like this. They are creating rule for some pattern, right? It should be like this pattern. Then how do we bind it? Yeah, they like this, right? SP underscore bind. This SQL server like this we do. What you call? We are binding a rule to some table on some column, gada?
Yes, sir.
After creating a rule, we have to say execute SP underscore bind rule. Rule name for so and so table, for so and so column, right? Employee table higher data map cheyali kadama. We
Yes,
are
sir.
binding a rule. We are binding a rule for which table, which column? Employee table, higher
Table.
data, right?
Hiring data.
Once the rule is created, how we are mapping, how we are mapping this to this, how we are linking this to this. Okay, we have to link, right, this rule to this column, right?
Yes, sir.
If you want to modify the rule, they can say alter rule name as, and they will modify the rule. Okay, but are we going to create a rule? Are we going to create binding all the things as a tester? No. Who will do creating rule, binding all these things? Who will do?
Developers.
But when we are testing, we have to test these things. Tomorrow I will tell you what all we have to test in the database.
Okay, sir.
But
Okay,
before
sir.
testing, you should know, right? What is rule, what is constraint, what is procedure, what is trigger.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is database tables, what is alter statement, what are transactions. You should know all these things.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow I will tell you as a test engineer what you test in the database.
Okay, sir.
I think I said, yeah, these are all topics you should understand. Database testing, right? What we have to test and how to test database. This we will see tomorrow class. Okay, but the check and rule both are same, right? So check we cannot reuse, gada. Check we have to create many places, right?
Yes.
The same check is required in many places. Instead of creating a check many places, you create a rule and bind it, right? That's easy for reusability, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are all overall topics we learned? The SQL statement, single statement, joins, subqueries. You may group by having conditions.
Primary keys for
And then it concepts my DDL statements, DML statements, delete, truncate, drop, the primary key, foreign key, procedures, triggers, views.
transactions.
Yeah. Please go through all these concepts theoretically. Okay, even if theoretical concepts you go through them. And SQL queries you can practice, right? Select queries, so joins, so subqueries, so where condition, group by. Then that SQL queries you can practice. Okay. Tomorrow is database testing.